My new boss looked straight at me during my yearly review and said 3 words that still make my blood boil. "You're lazy and disrespectful." I just sat there, staring at her, wondering how someone who had no idea what my team even did had the audacity to judge my work ethic. But the funniest part, 3 weeks later, she didn't have a team to manage. A week after that, she didn't even have a job. And the person who accidentally set all of that in motion was her. If you've ever had a boss who made your life miserable for absolutely no reason, you're gonna love this story. Because today's revenge story isn't about screaming, fighting, or dramatic confrontations. No, this one is about patience, documentation, and letting someone destroy their own career. So if you enjoy satisfying revenge stories like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. Last year, everything at my company changed, and not in a good way. Our boss, the one everyone loved, left the company. She was the kind of manager people actually respect, the kind who understood what we did, the kind who had our backs. And when she left, the entire team felt it. Suddenly, the department felt empty. Upper management said they'd be finding a replacement soon, but until then, someone from another department would temporarily oversee our team. Enter Dina. Now, from the moment Dina walked into our department, you could tell something was off. She carried herself with this stiff, rigid energy, like she was constantly waiting for someone to challenge her authority. The problem was, no one wanted to challenge her. We just wanted to do our jobs. But Dina? She had a completely different idea about leadership. You see, Dina didn't understand what our team did, not even a little bit. And the worst part? She didn't want to learn. If we tried explaining processes, she'd interrupt halfway through. If we tried asking questions, she'd wave us off like we were annoying her. It quickly became obvious that she saw our department as something she needed to control, not understand. And that's when the accusations started. One Monday morning, we had a meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. I arrived at 8:55, which, in literally every workplace on planet Earth, is considered early. But apparently not to Dina. She looked at me the moment I walked in and said coldly, "You're cutting it pretty close." I blinked. The meeting hadn't even started yet. Then she said something that still confuses me to this day. For future reference, the latest earliest you should arrive is 15 minutes before meetings. Latest, earliest, I still don't know what that means. But to Dina, it meant respect. And apparently, arriving 5 minutes early meant disrespect. But that was just the beginning, because suddenly, everything was disrespectful. Need to step away to use the restroom? Disrespect. Taking PTO that the company literally offers? Disrespect. Finishing work and leaving at a normal hour? Apparently also. Disrespect. At first I tried to ignore it. Everyone did. We figured she was just stressed about filling in temporarily. But the weeks passed, and it got worse. Way worse. Eventually I realized something important. Dina wasn't stressed. She was insecure. She didn't understand our work, and instead of learning, she decided the best way to establish authority was by tearing people down. And that's when I started documenting everything. Every accusation, every comment, every unreasonable demand. Dates, times, witnesses, emails, messages, screenshots, all organized into one massive Excel spreadsheet. At first it felt a little ridiculous. Like, was I really building a case file against my own boss? But something in my gut told me this wasn't going to end well. And I wanted proof. Because eventually, someone like Dina always goes too far. And sure enough, she did. It happened during my yearly performance review. Now, up until that moment, my performance history had been spotless. Great reviews, happy clients, consistent results. I regularly worked until 10 p.m. to make sure projects were done. So I walked into that meeting expecting a normal review, maybe even a raise. Instead, Dina slid a document across the table, a performance improvement plan, a PIP. If you've ever worked in corporate environments, you know exactly what that means. It's basically a warning, a signal that someone is already halfway out the door. And then she said it. "Your work ethic has been extremely disappointing." I just stared at her. She continued, "Frankly, you come across as lazy and disrespectful. Lazy after months of late nights? Disrespectful after tolerating her constant accusations." For a moment, I felt my chest tighten. That mix of anger and disbelief when someone rewrites reality right in front of you. But I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't raise my voice. Instead, I just nodded. Because right then, I made a decision. I was done. But I wasn't going to leave empty-handed. I started quietly searching for a new job. And in the meantime, I kept documenting. Because Dina didn't slow down. If anything, she got worse. But there was one thing she didn't realize. Something incredibly important. My role on that team wasn't just my job. Over the years, I'd become the person everyone relied on. The one who helped coworkers fix issues. The one who smoothed out conflicts. The one who knew how everything worked. Without realizing it, I had become the glue holding the entire department together. And eventually, a new opportunity appeared, a position at a law firm, better pay, better hours, better everything. So the moment I signed the contract, I prepared my resignation, but I didn't just send a normal 2 weeks notice. No, I attached the spreadsheet, all dozens and dozens of documented incidents, and then I did one more thing. I BCC'd the CEO. Now the CEO and I had a good relationship. He had told me several times that if I ever considered leaving, he'd do anything to keep me. So when he saw the spreadsheet, he called me immediately. And the first thing he asked was simple. Do you want me to fire her? For a moment, I thought about it. It would have been easy. But then I remembered something. Dina had kids, and as frustrating as she was, I wasn't interested in destroying someone's life, so I told him no. But I did say one thing. If more people leave because of her, you might want to rethink her position. He agreed. My last day came. I packed my desk, said goodbye to my coworkers, and walked out. And then something incredible happened. The next morning, my entire team submitted their resignations. Every single one of them, effective immediately. And every single resignation letter said the same thing. They were leaving due to Dina's treatment of the team. Now remember, our department handled the service that generated most of the company's revenue. Without us, the company couldn't function. Suddenly, Dina didn't just have a team problem. She had no team. Within days, the CEO made his decision. If Dina had driven away the entire department, then clearly she wasn't fit to lead anyone. So she was fired. No severance, no golden handshake, just gone. And how did I find out? Because Dina started calling me nonstop. My phone blew up for days. Voicemails, angry messages, more calls. Apparently she believed I had turned everyone against her. But by that point, I had already started my new job. At a law firm. So I did the most satisfying thing imaginable. I asked one of the attorneys to draft a cease and desist letter. And the moment Dina received it, the calls stopped. Just like that. Total silence. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. And it doesn't involve yelling or confrontation. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply walking away and letting someone face the consequences of their own behavior. Because, in the end, Dina didn't lose her job because of me. She lost it because she pushed away the very people who made the company successful. And karma? Well, karma just handled the rest. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more insane Reddit revenge stories. And I want to know in the comments, what's the worst boss you've ever had? Did karma ever catch up to them? Let's talk about it. And until next time, remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply letting someone ruin their own life.